Hello, I would like to demonstrate via video why the cosine of 3x plus the cosine of 5x, that quantity, divided by the cosine of 3x minus the cosine of 5x is indeed the cotangent of x times the cotangent of 4x. Now, by the way, as a note to the author, this entire quantity and this entire quantity is divided. So I recommend, if you're writing in line, put parentheses here, because a fraction bar implies parentheses. I originally thought only the cosine 5x and the cosine 3x were divided, but that is not the case. Now, since the final answer involves 4x, which is 1x angle higher than 3x, but 1x angle smaller than 5x, that sounds like we should add and subtract the angle x from 3x and 5x respectively. Furthermore, the final answer involves x. So that implies the difference formula and the sum formula for the cosine function. The cosine difference of angle formula is cosine A cosine B plus sine A sine B, whereas the cosine sum formula is cosine A cosine B minus sine A sine B. Notice there's some nice symmetry between them, but the subtraction formula has a plus and the addition formula has a minus. So if A angle is set to 4x and if B angle is set to x in each of these cases, 4x minus x is the angle needed for cosine 3x. And 4x plus x is the angle needed for cosine 5x. So let's plug into each of these formulas. So the first formula should give us, okay, cosine 4x cosine x plus sine 4x sine x. And the second formula should give us cosine 4x cosine x minus sine 4x sine x. We'll plug this first expression in for cosine 3x in both the spots that I have squiggle red underlines, and then we'll plug the second expression, which I have double blue underlines, in for cosine 5x, top and bottom. And we write out all these terms. Now notice the bottom term has a minus, so keep in mind the minus here gets distributed to both of these terms. So with that in mind, we should be able to cancel and combine some of the terms. So if we switch color here for emphasis, I think that cosine 4x cosine x, this term right here, is a like term to this term right here. So I think that's exactly 2 cosine 4x times cosine x. Now notice, though, that the sine of 4x sine x, this should exactly cancel with negative sine 4x sine x. And in such a similar way, you should notice cosine 4x cosine x, notice this minus times this should cancel the cosine terms. So those cosine terms actually do cancel. So this term cancels with this term. But then the sine 4x sine x, minus times a minus is plus. So that's going to be 2 sine 4x cosine 4x, or cosine x. Now notice the 2 over the 2 will cancel. Cosine x over sine 4x is exactly cotangent of 4x. And cosine x over, sorry, this was sine right here. This was sine x. Let me write that in. And we should get the desired answer. So we should get exactly 2 over 2 cancels. Then we just get cotangent of x from the cosine over sine, cotangent x times the cotangent of 4x. Hope that was helpful. Thank you.